Okay, my friends, here is Lord from Vox Vampyrica, and this evening we are receiving two great friends from, at least to us in Brazil, a distant land called Alaska. Please welcome to Cliff and Ivy, hot band from Alaska. Be very welcome, my friends.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're really happy to be here.
It's a great moment. I am following your work since 2010. I think it's our 10 years, almost 10 years right now.
Yeah.
I remember that we are talking in this following years. Oh, let's record something. Let's do something together. And the time goes out, time is running out. But we are always in contact. Present yourself, our listeners. Talk a little about your band. I love your songs. In particular, Ritual and Resurrection are my favorites. They're my favorite ones. And will be in this edition of Vox Vampyrica, of course. But please present yourself, talk about band, and you'll have a lot of projects in Alaska. So, Vox Vampyrica is yours.
Go ahead. Tell them all about it.
Yeah, I think we've been doing this work as Cliff and I for just going on 10 years now.
9 years.
9
Yeah,
years?
2011. We had our first show, 2011.
Yeah.
And we've been doing lots of projects. We've released lots of CDs and albums, and we've done a lot of collaborations with people and with a lot of different producers. Currently, we're working on music in our own studio, and we have some new music we're working on. Some Spanish version of a new single that's coming out. It's to be announced, so it's not out yet, but still work in progress. And we'll definitely let all of our friends know about that. And we have some new compilations that are out now that we're on. You can tell them about those.
Sure. Our newest songs are on 2 compilations. We have a song called 8 Star that's on a compilation called Blood and Dust, and that's put out by Aeon.
Venus
Aeon.
Venus Aeon and Latex Records.
Mm-hmm. And it's a compilation of Western theme music, so
like spaghetti Western,
cowboy Western, but dark theme. So we thought that was really interesting for us to do. We hadn't really ever done a Western theme song before, so it was a really fun, assignment for us to do.
And then the other projects, is a song called Will to the Power.
Will to the Power, which is on a compilation called Tiny Gods Who Walk Beside Us. And that is a compilation done by our good friend Ken Majorman, who does Sounds and Shadows blog. And he had wanted to do a benefit compilation for animal care and animal health, specifically cats.
It's like a benefit for animals.
Cat lover. So all these goth bands, we all love cats. And we know that we kind of worship cats as tiny gods in our own home. They run our lives and things like that. So he made the comp called Tiny Gods, and we just thought it was so cute and such a good thing, a good cause. And so we have 2 new songs. That's Will to the Power on that one, and the other one is called 8 Star. Speaking of cats, we do have a tiny god right here. And then in our past, we've worked with a lot of people. Mostly, we've worked together before in different bands and different genres, for quite a long time. We did punk music and industrial music together prior.
We started playing together in 1984. We met in New Jersey, and we played in lots of punk bands and underground rock bands. And then in the 90s, we moved to California, and then we moved up to Alaska in 1994, or actually 1993. And so we've been here up here. We have 2 sons, and we live here, and we really like it. It's a nice place to live.
Yeah, we end up doing a lot of our recording here, of course, but we kind of finish it off mostly down in LA, like
we've been lucky enough to work with some really great producers and some collaborators. Currently, we work a lot with. We've worked with Paul Rosler at Kitten Robot Studios in Los Angeles, and Paul Rosler is famous for working with the Screamers and 45 Grave and Nina Hagen Band and just all these great artists. And he's super talented. And we work with Rick Agnew from the Christian Death and the Adolescents and so many bands. He's just amazing. And Jatan Damone from Christian Death as well. And just all these folks. They're just really great collaborators and super talented folks. We love working with them. We work with Don Bowles from the Germs and 45 Grave as well. And he's been in a million bands as well. And Kramer from the Butthole Surfers and just so many bands he's worked on. And
So these are folks who've either collaborated with us or produced an album. Going back to working with Don Bowles and Kramer, we recorded with him on the East Coast of the United States.
That was like 2014. That was with a full band we had.
We used to have a full band, and that was sort of problematic in terms of traveling.
Yeah, touring with a full band from Alaska is really expensive for us, So
we have to go far just to get to a major city.
Anchorage, Alaska to Seattle is the distance from New York to Los Angeles. That's how far we are from the rest of the United States. So we currently, I'm sorry, I'm talking over you, but
okay.
We currently we use backing tracks now to perform because it's just the two of us, and so I play guitar and Ivy sings and we bring our backing tracks with us, and we both write songs. Yeah, I write the lyrics, and it sounds great. And I'm sure that at some point we'll have a full band again and perform out touring. We'd love to do that.
Yeah, we want to go, and maybe we'll come to the point where we could collaborate with people at the location. Like if we tour on the East Coast, we could pick up musicians there, and
we have some great collaborators there as well. Yeah, yeah. Brian Troyce's a drummer, friend since back in high school days, and we currently work with him on lots of new projects. He's really great, really talented drummer and multi instrumentalist, and he has his own studio. And so it's really cool. On the West Coast, we work with Skylee Vague and Deb Venom and PJ Franco and just all these other great talented folks that we have met along the way that are just great musicians. And
yeah, in Alaska, we say that we're the Alaska's only goth band or Alaska's goth duo, which is completely true. The scene here is so small; it's really mostly just the two of us. We do have young fans, younger people, and we have had a lot of support here from the drag community, drag and burlesque. So they understand our style and the dark themes and things like that. So we've been able to gain fans locally through the drag community, which has been very kind to us. But we find that mostly we play out in the lower 48 United States and hopefully someday other places. And, we want to come to Europe and South America.
We want to play Brazil. Sure.
Yeah.
Dreaming, thinking, Alaska.
Yeah.
You have a support from the peoples of burlesque and drag scene more near. This is awesome. And you realize some kind of party events in your city, in your region?
Yeah, we actually own the North when it comes to dark music. So we don't have a lot of people, but we have a giant region that we cover.
Well, as far as goth music
Yeah.
and the death rock, we're the only band here. There are like black metal bands and that kind of thing. There's like death metal bands, and but we're not really a death metal band. I wouldn't consider us a metal band really, but we do some metal style music. But
we have influences from lots of different music.
But as far as their scene goes, there are people that enjoy the goth music and death rock, and but it's not I wouldn't say there's a scene here, like it's really we're really isolated up here. So I mean there's a bit of a metal scene and a punk scene, and there's a lot of younger folks and people that are adults that really get into the music, but it's not like it's a burgeoning scene. Let's say maybe a couple of years from now there might be something happening as far as that goes.
So we like to reach out to people with our music, of course, and a lot through our videos. We have videos that are on the fire that we're working on getting out, but our music videos always have the outdoors in them, because why not? We look where we are, we might as well make as many videos in the great outdoors as we can. And it's kind of funny. We end up going on a hike to make a video. We take our DIY equipment, which is like our phone, and a couple of lights and some costumes, and put them in a backpack. And we go out to a place like a glacier or a mountain, and then we do some video and come back, and usually we scare away everybody else who's out hiking. There's other people there, they run. They're like, oh, what's going on? But yeah, then we did make a video at a facility called HARP, which is a somewhat controversial facility.
It's a HAARP.
It's a university facility now, but for a long time the government had it in order to do experiments with the electromagnetic streams that are in the atmosphere.
The aurora borealis, the
northern lights,
like the pole, the energy that comes in from the universe, like that comes in like the northern pole,
and from the sun, the solar winds that would come, and they make flares that are the same on the top of the world as they are on the bottom, except they're kind of opposite. So they would do a lot of experiments with that, and a lot of people thought that it was mind control and things like that. But we actually went to the facility and did music video in the facility. And we got away with it. It was fine. Nobody really bothered us because it's just the two of us.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They used to talk about the people with tinfoil hats and stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of kind of people who believe
conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy people, yeah.
We're not one way or the other. We don't know if it's true or not. It's just entertaining for
art,
us. Yeah.
And we try to be a little bit shocking, And some of our music does have an environmental advocacy. We have our song "Fossil Fuel," and of course we are, in the land of oil production, one of the states that does that, or at least used to do that. And we just have a lot of nature influences in what we do, and a lot of kind of subconscious stories and, broad reaching storytelling about the world and history going on in our music. Yeah. Especially the album. I know that you mentioned a song that you liked from CXI 111. Did you say Reincarnation? That was the song that you liked?
Yes, I appreciate very much. I like very much of the video clip, and the song attracted me. The atmosphere of the song, it's a combination that when I listened the first time, this must be in my DJ set. I feel a connection with this music.
Yeah.
We filmed that in the graveyard downtown in Anchorage,
Alaska, Anchorage graveyard, and you could see the whale bones and the gravestones and things. Reincarnation is a really special song, and that's one of my favorite albums that we've done together. Very emotional and very symbolic at the same time. And we get a lot of our songs, of course, from our influences. We love dark music and, the gothic music that everybody is into, like weird experimental music too. one of the things that we do is kind of an intuitive songwriting process for the lyrics, of course, and then also for the song structures and the chord patterns. Um, what I do is I have synesthesia, which is a condition where you mix up your senses. I don't know if you or some of probably many of your listeners or viewers also have an experience where you see, you know, lights or colors around words, or maybe you can taste a sound, something like that.
Sometimes people see floating numbers,
And it's called synesthesia, and it just means that your brain processes those senses differently. So what I do when I have my synesthesia is involved with words and colors.
And I have dyslexia, so both of those are related to autism. So.
Yeah, so I have a really big old dictionary. It's about that thick, and I go through it. I hold it until I can feel a color in my mind, and then I open it, and then I start to feel colors from the words, and then I make a list, and then I combine them in a pattern that will make a painting in my mind, like a series of colors in my mind.
Mhm.
And then that becomes the lyric, and then people, can interpret them as they would, but I know there's a lot of environmental advocacy in there. I know that there's stories about diseases and discovery of treasure and things like that are things that I never would even be able to consciously think of.
A sensual fall. A half-face now has fallen from the wall. The second head is the soul, discovered in exploration of unknown islands. A sensualist nature, devoid of drawing, simple, hand-spreading color, saturated, touching, devouring cruelty, pulling brains out with a tiny fork. The second head is the soul, a double genius, perennial, illuminated, devouring armor and exoskeleton.
So
I believe I have some experiences on similar convergent ways with this. I have a practice where I take my tarot deck and I put the block of cards and I separate in 3 blocks. Then I close my eyes and I think in a kind of element, maybe water, fire, air, earth, and randomly I drop a card. With my closed eyes, I take a card, and for my lucky, many times, and the most part of times, I got the element on that card, and this is really interesting. It's something that I practice since when I was more younger. It's a practice that I carry until now, and that's very interesting. I think that sensoriality it's very interesting thing. I write a book about the sentient alphabets like runes, like the Juche alphabet. It's a theme that I appreciate too much. 10 years ago, I fell in love with the works of a runologist from Sweden on the 17th century called Johannes Burels. He
wow.
writes about Adu runas, and my favorite set of runes is a theme that I appreciate much. And it's good. It's good to find good friends who share this interest and appreciate this kind of topic too.
Yeah, we would encourage that. I think that many people can find an intuitive side through those things. And when you think about how writing developed, and all it is a symbol that means something inside. So I love learning about runes too, and early languages and early letter formats and things like that. But yeah, when we write, it's a special time to just kind of let that out, and it's we've talked about it to people, but in the past, and some people are like, yeah. But if people experience that themselves, then that's just another way to reach your audience and to reach another person, not just necessarily even calling people an audience, but to reach others with your creativity, which is ultimately why, why we want, it's a way to communicate. And our music can communicate across languages too. I really feel that the colors and the emotions that are inside the notes that I can see, but maybe others can see too, and just reach out to somebody regardless of the current language they know right now. That's partly why I want to try doing the Spanish song, because it is not my first language at all, but I do want to try that way of reaching out to people outside of my common communication for myself, and just see what happens and see what I learn and see what other people learn and the feedback that I get, and just give it a try. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great. That's amazing. That's a great important thing. And my friends, Weddy, please tell me a bit more about your shows and your favorite places where Cliff and Ivy already play in this last year. In these last years,
We played in
where the audience was more hot, was more enthusiastic. How was? Please share a little bit about this.
well, we played in Portland at this really cool music festival. We did some shows down there.
Yeah, that was a Pacific Northwest festival. We played out a lot last year before the contagion hit. But
we played a music
Portland
festival.
was great.
Yeah, we played a music festival in Portland. We played in I think that was around Halloween time.
Halloween, yeah, the Portland and Oregon area was really an enthusiastic crowd, and they have a big scene, and they focus on Pacific Northwest, meaning the northwest of the United States, the coast, and then Alaska's the highest one, far away from everyone else, but we're included in that.
And we played in music festival in the CD Baby Music Festival in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And we had a showcase there with like NPR radio was there, stuff like that, like the National Public Radio.
But the craziest crowd of all,
and San Antonio. Yeah.
The craziest crowd of all was San Antonio, Texas. Oh my God, I had never even seen anything like that. They were just off the hook, and their scene is so off the hook and cool, and they were so nice.
It was fun.
We got a chance to play with other bands all through the Texas gigs. Played with other friends' bands, and they were great.
Screech of Death.
Lisa for Screech of Death. They were great, and other bands too that were kind of passing through, and some local bands. But the audience in San Antonio was just off the hook. I mean, they were shouting.
Yeah, Sabbath Crew is another good band down there.
Yeah, right up at the front of the stage. And I usually don't really have to deal with people right up at the stage in front of me, because I'm right there, but people were just coming up close to me and just stick out their tongue at me and make faces,
Well, people really they really like music down there.
Yeah.
They're really into it. So
it was so fun. Yeah.
We love that.
Yeah, and they all meant it all in a good way. They were all just having a great time. And it was a situation where there's this one street with a bunch of clubs on it, and we were in this one club, and people were coming from the different clubs and the different genres. Like one club is a hip hop club, and the other one's rock, and the next one's country. But people were just going around the circuit checking out what's in here. So every once in a while, somebody would come in who's obviously not, dressing like they like goth music, but they don't care. They let you in. They don't have any dress code. They're just like, yeah, come on in, have a beer, But people would check us out, and they're like, yeah.
Oh.
So it was great, and we appreciated that very much. So
we played the East Coast, we played the West Coast, we played like Los Angeles, and
LA has a great scene.
We played down in Baltimore. That was really cool.
That was a fun gig too.
That was last year. We played in Baltimore.
Yeah, and sometimes the scenes are small in terms of numbers, but the people are great and so creative and cool and friendly. Yeah.
So we played online with the Dark Side of the Con 4. It was supposed to happen in March, but then
Contagion.
This pandemic is going on, so they pushed it back to September. So we're waiting to find out about that. Also, we're scheduled to perform in Portland at a music festival there for Halloween week, the week of Halloween. But so we're still waiting to figure out if that's gonna happen or not. It's hard, fingers crossed. So we're hoping.
Yeah, we would very much want to come out and see people and travel and
It's
get
all
to know people in person.
it's all up to this,
Yeah.
the safety. We have to make sure everybody's safe. So.
Yeah.
This pandemic here in Brazil is really scary. It's the things here are truly scary. At hard times.
Yeah, it's difficult
You
for
need to shave so you
people.
can get the mask on your face.
Right?
Recently, I obtained a mask, very cool, and covered until the cover. His cover my neck, and then I put the beard and
Yeah.
close all my face.
Just be
Then
careful.
goes
Yeah.
to street became more safely.
Yeah.
And try to get gloves too if you can.
Yeah.
Get
Just be
gloves.
careful.
Oh, gloves here. Our medical friends inform us to avoid the gloves because
Okay.
yeah, that's very interesting. The gloves don't protect us how we think. If you not wear gloves, but you go out and you back at your home, you wash your hands, then
Yeah.
you prefer you are okay. But with the gloves, you transport the virus for everywhere.
Yeah, people think they don't have to wash their hands if they wear the gloves, and then they keep it.
Yeah, get the gloves if you can get them. They do help, but
and wash your hands.
But you got to take them off and then wash your hands.
Yeah.
I worked in healthcare, so we know about universal precautions, and that I've worked with a lot of people with many different diseases over the years, and I don't have any of those. So just got to be careful, and be safe. Universal precautions. It's important.
This is very important. Man, here we already lost 4 colleagues, 4 friends of us passed away since this pandemic starts.
Yeah.
Last week, I have a good friend called Ciro Pessoa. He was a kind of rock star here in Brazil with a band called Titans. Did you already? He was one of the founding members.
I've heard of them.
On Facebook, I think a lot of people talked about that. Yeah, that's really sad.
I've heard of the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a punch on the stomach for us, and it's really sad.
A season of rain, the rose spins a skein, a treat or a home remedy. Angels conspire to sit by the fire and interpret the silence of tea. A thunderbolt of time, a torrent of rhyme for the fortress on the open sea. Be thankful, confide, walls would describe, the heart is an island of peace. Fire so bright, turn the tide, the triumph of peace, the fire inside, the stars are bright, seconds of the night, reach the end, begin again. Fire so bright, turn the tide, the triumph of peace, the fire inside, stars are bright, seconds to midnight, reach the end, begin again. Starlight so bright, seconds to midnight, reach the end, peace begins again. Starlight so bright, seconds to midnight, reach the end, peace begins again. A human creation, affiliation, trapping wishes in chemistry. Our disquieted path of occupied wrath, a blackbird blazes free. Children abide as love comes alive in the fortress on the open sea. A seasoned array.
Now there's a theme that we always bring to our interviews because of relevance from our site, and this theme is: what are your favorite movies, horror movies? I think terror movies. I think you appreciate. What are your favorite ones?
Me personally, I mean, as far as goth type movies, I mean, I like a lot of horror films, like the Hammer horror films, the Christopher Lee, especially as the vampire.
Yeah,
he's such a villain. He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's great.
Yeah, people laugh at me for this, but one of my best favorite movies is Dune. You know, the Dune from the 80s. I love it. I love the characters. I love the Reverend Mother Gaius Mohiam, I think you say it. I'm not sure how you say it. Anyway, her look with the bald head and all that. I love her. I also really like The Hunger. We just recently rewatched that, The Hunger. I hadn't seen it in quite a long time, but we watched it again and we just were like, wow, this movie just has so much meaning in it that we didn't catch when we were younger when we saw it before. So, yeah.
I like David Cronenberg films a lot. Videodrome and the Shining. Oh, not the Shining. That's different. But I do like The Shining as well. But David Cronenberg films, which is like Videodrome and Rabid and The Dead Zone. That's the one I was thinking of. Dead Zone. That's the tie-in right there.
Dead Zone is a very cool movie.
Yeah.
We love The Dead Zone.
Yeah, Dead Zone.
It's so cool.
The ice is gonna break.
It's a psychic, yeah.
It's Christopher Walken on the main actor.
Yeah.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a great history. Did you have the opportunity to watch a new series from the last year called Nosferatu from the book of Joe Hill? My friends, I write an article that we post last night, and I'm in the middle of series, and the series from the son of Stephen King, the writer Joe Hill. It is very awesome. The question how the series deal with The Shining, because the series happened in the same shared universe from Stephen King. The principal characters are shining ones, so they call it of creatives in Nosferatu, and they have a kind of gift where they access the inner dimensions that he brings to our world through focus. The heroine of the series, a girl called Vic McQueen, she had a motorcycle and then runs with her motorcycle through the forest, and in the forest there's an old bridge, that covered bridge of wood that don't exist anymore, I think. And then she, to make this bridge appears and cross the bridge with his motorcycle, and it's transported to another places to solve the mystery of this another super creative, and he is the bad guy of the series, the Nosferatu, Charles Manx.
Sounds good.
Awesome.
Sounds good.
Yes, it's a good series. I don't expect to see something so cool that the series.
Yeah.
Can you send me the link for that, or just the name of it, like in private later?
Yes, I sent to you after our interview. I sent to you. It's a great series. I'm very excited with the series. I don't lose one episode.
We really like the old movies, like the classics, like you said, Nosferatu. Love the original one with Max Schreck. He's super creepy. And, like the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari and, Metropolis and all those different films are just so amazing, I mean, just all those,
Those are so perfect. Yeah.
Yes, great classics of German expressionism. I really enjoy all these movies. And
and of course, John Waters. Like for you, have to, favorite comedian, like comedy films. Would be John Waters films. I think.
Yeah.
Me personally, with Divine and all Mink Stole and all those crazy Baltimore characters.
Yeah.
So are you familiar with those?
Pink Flamingos.
Yeah.
Maniacs.
That's for living.
That girl with this eyebrows, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Divine.
It's a very cool movie.
Such an icon.
Just like total
Yeah, that'd be great.
Over the top comedy.
Yeah, those are great. So we like a lot of different things. I mean, we
like a lot of different things.
We're big movie people, and we've been watching movies, of course, because everyone's home all the time, and there's always something new. I checked out an Amazon series called Britannia, which is like a retelling of early Celtic Druidic myths, but it's sort of like a soap opera, which I can understand why they have that, all these narratives and stuff. But I found it to be really interesting just because of the costume and the amount of violence and gore that's in it, and the use they use runes in it. They have all this different art, and this is the type of thing that I was into like years ago. And if I would have seen it, I don't know, 20 years ago, I would have just dropped my mouth open, but now you can see such a thing, on Amazon, which is a common, like your average person is
It's like
expected to
Netflix.
be, expected to be interested in it. I was telling Cliff, it's the whole series is like the Killing Joke album Fire Dances, like played out in a, in a whole long series. But yeah, so I keep thinking to myself, man, it's like fire dances. It's like fire dances. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I haven't finished it yet because it's pretty long. But I guess that's one of the more current things that I've checked out, which is neat. It's been fun to see darker themes be, so more accepted now. And even here in Alaska, people know about us. It's not like we have a scene in other bands, but literally, like, we show up to a place, like we show up to a car show or a parade or whatever, and people will say, "There's Cliff and Ivy." There's Alaska's, the goth people are here, So it's like, wow, we're diverse.
Oh,
Tell them about you have a title. Ivy has a title in the drag community.
Yeah, this is so weird, but the drag community puts on pageants, and they have, I don't know if they have
And then
this
tell them
in
about Rainbow
Brazil.
Guys, too. We have that.
I don't know if they have this in Brazil, but the communities tend to have, a court where they vote for and elect a king or a queen or a duchess and a duke, Miss Gay Alaska, Mr. Gay Alaska, pageant. So they had a pageant last year, which was to introduce a new title called The Nightmare of Anchorage. And it was supposed to be for a darker theme performer, but I'm not, I perform, like we sing and we do the band thing, but I saw the call go out on Facebook, and the folks that put it on are super nice. And I didn't see that anybody else was responding to, to join it. So I entered it. I said, yeah, I'll just do it. And I'll do one song that we do, I'll just do a funny song, and I'll use some of the props that we use.
She did a song from a movie.
It's a song. I've written a letter to Daddy from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Betty Davis.
It's that.
yeah.
I've written a letter to Daddy. It's just so campy.
Yeah, it's called Hagsploitation.
Yeah, so I was hamming it up. Yeah, hags, like the old, anyway, I'm all about the hagsploitation. So I was hamming it up, and I had like lipstick all over my face and lipstick on my teeth, and I was dancing around with a baby doll, and then at the end of it, I learned that I won.
So Ivy's title is?
My title is The Nightmare of Anchorage.
Oh.
So I keep the title. They didn't have a pageant this year. We were supposed to have one to pass it to somebody else, but
because of the
the
pandemic, there's no Pride parade this year, so they won't be. They're letting all the titles go one more year. So I
go till next year. But we also, part of having that title is that you need to give back to the community and do some kind of philanthropic things.
So we're doing a benefit.
Yeah, we're doing a benefit album called Rainbow Goth, and that is where bands donate a song, and the purchase price of the album goes to an organization that serves mostly youth and elders of the LGBTQ community, with info and referral and just different services that people might need. This is a very conservative community here. So people who come out as LGBTQ to their families sometimes get pushed away from the family because people don't understand. And it's very dangerous to be pushed away from your family and your community here, especially if you're young, because the risk of being homeless and going to the streets is very high.
It's really cold in the wintertime. People die. If you're living on the street, you really have a chance of being, dead, because it's just so cold. Or
here is not much difference. Maybe the only difference is the climate. Here is a tropical country. Alaska is famous by being a cold climate. It's very, very cold place.
Yeah.
But yes, here we watch many friends of us pass a lot of difficulties with his families and with some they suffer with very dangerous situations when they goes on street. It's yes, is something very sad in the 21st century. Yet this kind of violence happens.
Yeah, it still happens. And so the album is going to be fun because we'll promote it. We'll have lots of great bands.
It's called Rainbow Goth 2. We've
The
actually did
second
one
one.
last year.
Mhm.
We did one last year. It had lots of real great goth and death rock and punk rock bands on it.
Mhm.
And this year we're gonna have another compilation.
Mhm.
The end of this month will be like we're putting down a call right now. So if artists want to send us the music, we'll give you the information you can share.
Mhm.
And it's if you go to House of Extreme Darkness on Bandcamp, and there's a Rainbow Goth link there, and people can send us their music and put it on the compilation.
Yeah.
And it's what do you call it? Like we don't own the music. We just want to
Yeah,
solicit donations for people.
we don't get any money from it. The PayPal is set up to go right to the organization, and it's called Identity here in Alaska. So it goes right to them. All the profits, if any, go to them, and they're
The donation goes right
it
to,
goes right to
the
them.
nonprofit. So yeah, we just really kind of like to help
Yeah.
share our music, but also for a good cause. So.
Yeah, so it's been fun, and that'll be really great. Mhm.
Yeah, we got some really great artists lined up already. So we're just looking for some more artists that want to participate, and it'll be coming out. Hopefully, what's the due date for Rainbow Goth 2?
Rainbow Goth 2, we need submissions by May 30th, and it will come out right away.
Beginning of May. I'm
Probably
sorry, the
just-
beginning of June.
June 2nd or thereabouts, depending on how fast I can work it.
Mhm.
But yeah, it'll be out, and we'll give the band some download codes to have. We don't have any physical product, just digital.
That's digital.
But people can share away, and they can have their download, the whole thing. And we got really good reviews of the first Rainbow Goth. It had 55 tracks on it and a bunch of videos too. And it was worth maybe 3 hours of totally excellent goth music and punk and metal and experimental. Yeah, it was really good. So I'm excited about Rainbow Goth too. Yeah.
Wow, wow, it's a lot of things, and I love to know much more about this, my friends. Unfortunately, I must inform you that we are in the closing minutes of our podcast.
Okay.
And please share to our audience a special message.
What would you say to them?
Well, you can check us out at clipandivy.com. And I just want to wish people to be safe and take this pandemic seriously. We know people that are in the healthcare industry and in New York City and different cities, and it's really serious. Take it seriously.
Yeah.
And be good to each other.
Yeah, be kind to each other and be thankful. That's one thing that I've found, even when I've been really feel like I don't have anything and my resources are gone and I'm totally down. You can turn it around if you begin to be thankful for what you do have. So practice every day. If you look into the mirror and state what you're thankful for, I guarantee you're going to feel better about everything, at least a little bit, and then it'll kind of go from there. So, and for that, I'm thankful to you for having us here to talk with you, and for the wonderful party that we went to with your friends and everybody online.
That was really
super
interesting.
cool. And I'm really thankful to be involved in this scene where we found just so many great people and heartfelt causes, and of course excellent music, and just to find our tribe, which is amongst the whole world. So I'm really thankful for you.
Keep making great music, folks, and art. We love to hear art and music and share with you. And
Yeah.
keep supporting the arts, people.
Yeah. Thank you so much, my dear Cliff and Ivy. This was a great honor to me. Hang out this time with you here on our Vox Vampyrica podcast. I wait for you more times here. I want to play more songs of you, and count with us for what you need we can help you. Please count with us. We are together. We are connected. Thank you so much one more time, my dears.
Thank you.
Se você gostou deste vídeo, deixe um curtir, compartilhe com pessoas afins e visite sempre o nosso portal redevamp.com.